The Vera Thomas Show. The Vera Thomas Show. The Vera Thomas Show. The Vera Thomas Show. Let's talk about it. 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 On the field.
Hello, hello, hello. I am so excited to be here today. And I know I say this every week, but I am really excited about my guests today. I have the authors of an upcoming book called The Power of Wisdom. And I am just so excited. There's another name with it as well. But in the meantime, let me pull them up and let's get started. I'm going to first pull up the visionary. How are you, Linda?
Thank you, Vera. I'm doing fantastic.
Well, I am so glad you're here. I am going to share a little bit about you, and then we're going to pull up the other guests.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, well, just thank you for your willingness to be here. Linda Bruns. Am I pronouncing that right?
It's Linda Bruns, but that's okay.
Bruns. Okay,
Just
thank
call
you.
me for dinner and I'll be there.
I should have asked you that before we started the show. Okay, Linda Bruns is founder and chief inspirer of Women Have Needs Too, a company designed to inspire and empower women to live their fullest lives. You can watch her on her current online telecast, Women Have Needs Too, at womenhaveneeds2.com, WHNTTV. I'm going to put that in the link so that you guys will see that, where she showcases dynamic women who also inspire and empower women in the areas of health, wealth, and mindset. You can also find Linda on the sidelines coaching women in the Mission Accelerator, her one-on-one coaching program designed to help women focus on their mission by growing past their fears, gaining clarity, and learning the art of communication with themselves and others. Linda's new book, Wisdom Before Me, is available now for pre-purchase. The official book launches on October 27th. Well, I am so glad you're here before the launch. I am just excited that you're here.
I can tell you, Vera, it's a very exciting time because we have contributing authors and each one is so dynamic, and I can't wait for you to get to meet a few of them tonight.
Awesome. Well, we're going to bring them up. We also have audience participation, and so I like to acknowledge those that come on. So I don't know who this Facebook user is, but thank you for being here. Hello, ladies, she says. So let me start by pulling up some of these authors. First, we have Judy Shulock. Did I pronounce that right?
You sure did.
Oh my God. Okay. Yay. Judy Shulock. We have Yolanda McIntosh, who is also one of my sponsors with Ms.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, how are you?
I'm fine. Thank you for having me.
I'm glad you're here. And then we have Miss Mindy Scarlett. Did I pronounce that right? Okay. Well, ladies, we're going to be talking about wisdom and how we accumulate wisdom. Why is it important to implement wisdom in our lives, for lack of a better way of putting it? But before we get started, I just attended my 50th high school reunion. 50. Can you imagine 50 years? I know. And we have another guest. She's saying, love the Vera Thomas show. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So I'm going to start by sharing this poem that I had the honor of sharing with my high school schoolmates. Class of 1972, our past, present, and future. Memories of that time of being young, full of life, sometimes full of ourselves, thinking we were grown. As life has gone by, we realize how little was really known. Unstoppable as our dreams and ambitions were pursued. We did what we thought we needed to do without fear or thought about how life would be. Reflecting on the 50 years, what do we now see? 50 years of success, failures, love, sweat, tears, and some pain. What in these 50 years have we learned? Have we gained? Now, in the autumn of our lives, what legacy do we want others to remember us by? Have we remained green and growing or ripe and rotten? Are all possibilities, hopes, and dreams forgotten? Are we still in awe of our future or focused on our past? Are we so daunted by life that our faith has not last? Have our attitudes towards ourselves and others changed? Better or worse, they are ours to claim. Whatever type of person we have chosen to become impacts on our overall well being when all is said and done. Is anger, hostility, and bitterness what others see? Does guilt, shame, blame, hate, and disdain make our reality? Do we treat others the way we want to be treated? Or do we succumb to the elements that deplete us? Are we a shining light that others see? Or is living on the dark side how we choose to be? Are we empathetic, loving, and kind with a positive mind? Have our hearts hardened over time? Are we living a life full of regret? Or excited that life is not finished yet? Our attitudes and our health integrate. How we treat ourselves and others correlate. As we reflect on our 50 years since high school, let us not forget the golden rule. Be kind to others, be kind to ourselves, is the legacy that will serve us well. Now, as we talk about wisdom, as we grow, as we learn, as we mature, then wisdom becomes an innate part of us, don't you think? But there, and there's a scripture that says, if any man lacks wisdom, let him ask of God who giveth liberally and upbraideth not. And I think about Solomon. God asked him, what do you desire? Whatever you desire, I will give to you. And the thing Solomon wanted more than anything else was wisdom. Wisdom is so important. So now I am going to shut up and I am going to give each of you an opportunity. And I'm going to start with the visionary and share with us, what was it that made you first envision this book? And how did you come about finding the authors? And can you just kind of share a little bit about your journey?
Absolutely. Thank you, Vera. And that poem was absolutely so pertinent and so thorough with, what this book is all about. And I can tell you, when I was 18 years old, I could not wait to be 30. And I remember thinking this to myself, I can't wait to be 30 because I know I'm going to know so much more when I'm 30. I just can't wait to have all that knowledge, all that wisdom. At that time, I wasn't looking at it as wisdom. I was looking at it as knowledge. And so I was not that 18-year-old who was looking at the clock thinking, oh my gosh, I'm going to be so old at 30. You know, I wasn't one of those people. So I couldn't wait. And then when I got to 30, I realized I was right. I gained a lot of knowledge between 18 and 30. But guess what? I also realized I don't know anything. That was just the tip of the iceberg. And so I have always valued knowledge. I've always valued wisdom. And I just knew I was telling somebody the other day that I started writing this book on my own. I have 5 chapters written, and I was going along in the book, and I put it aside because I started, the business, and I put it aside for about probably a year. And I had a meeting with my publisher in December, and I said, I have an idea. And this was the idea, the wisdom before me. And it was the idea of taking that book that I was writing and bringing in contributing authors, because I know I don't have all the wisdom in the world, and I value other women's wisdom. And yes, as this is a wisdom book written by women for women, it can help just about anybody. These stories, these women, these dynamic women are completely transparent, and they have been through so much in their lives, and they have gained such authentic wisdom. And I'm just so proud to be a part of this book with them. And I'm just thrilled.
Well, I am excited that you're here with these wonderful authors. And wisdom, we talk about wisdom, we talk about knowledge, and there is a marked difference between the two. Yeah. And we're going to kind of talk about that as well. And these days, kids at 18 think they're grown. They think they know everything. If they only knew. And there's another scripture that says, a wise man follows the advice of counsel. A fool goes their own way. Mm-hmm. And so wisdom is so important. And if there are any young people out here listening, you need to listen to us old people. We have things that we can tell you and teach you and show you, but you got to be open to it. I'm kind of talking to my grandson on top of that, because he turned 18 in August, and he knew he was grown. But anyway,
he knows everything, right?
He knows everything.
Can I suggest a better adjective of mature rather than old?
Okay, I like that. Because I'm not old. I'm just mature. You're right.
Well, it's funny. I heard this saying, and it's always stayed true, is when you're 18, you think you know everything. And when you're 21, you wish you did.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Pretty important 3 years there.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, Mindy, I'm going to give you the floor now, and you're going to share with us your journey and how you came upon being an author in this book.
Hi. Well, thanks very much for having us. I do appreciate the opportunity. And I tell you, it never ceases to amaze me, the connectedness of life. Mm. I recently moved to Florida, and I'm a ghostwriter. And I write books for people, and I always want to be connected to publishers, especially because my forte is writing books for business owners and making them an Amazon bestselling author. Well, not everybody wants to be an Amazon bestselling author. So I wanted to reach out to other publishers and have other places to refer my potential clients. And so that's why I reached out to Now Publishing, and they said, oh, we're in the middle of this lovely book, and we'd love to have you edit it for us. And oh, by the way, you can be a contributor as well if you wish. And so this is how I got the opportunity to meet all these amazing women and to help them with their stories. And it's just been an amazing journey. And I really do appreciate all the opportunities and all the doors that it's been opening for me, because, I'm new in town. And so the networking opportunities and the different events that I've been able to go to has just been amazing. So I really appreciate the opportunity to get to know these women and to, maybe help them in some small way along their journey.
That is awesome. That is wonderful. So you serve two purposes. You're an author, but you also help edit, and you're also going to be looking to do more things with Now Publishing. That's awesome. That's awesome. Ms. Mag Marketing. I'm going to have you come on up and share your story and how it is that you became a part of this.
Oh, wow. So I said, well, let me start off by saying the last 2 years of my life was very detrimental to me. I went through a lot of trials and tribulations, and through that trials and tribulations, I kept being told that there was a book that I had to write. And finally, I was at my breaking point with everything that I was experiencing. And then I ran into these wonderful people. There was a gentleman that I ran into that always talked about loving yourself. And so I began to become romantically in love with Yolanda. And then I wound up running into another young lady named Janelle. And with those trials and tribulations, Janelle Harris, by the way, she said, Yolanda, I give you permission to walk away from anything that's making you unhappy. And we always have the power to do these things. It's about accepting it. And then I ran into this wonderful woman, Linda, which is this visionary for this book. And she got a chance to know me, and I happened to share some of the prophecies and the things that I've been through, and with me being a walking miracle. And she says, I want to tell your story. And we started there. So she gave me an interview, but we talked briefly. I really didn't fully open up. And then finally I got a chance to open up, and she said, the world needs to know your story. So that's where I'm at. I am fully broken and allowing God to use me where I'm at from all the trials and tribulations that I've faced it through the last 2 years. And I just began to accept who I am. I am unusual and indifferent. I am something that the world said, the Mac attack. You know what? I am that. And I'm ready to receive that. So I'm embracing everything that God has for me. Like they said, whatever God has for you is for you. And I am willing to take this journey now. And I got friends now.
Yes, awesome. And God does not bring you to it unless he takes you through it. And
Absolutely.
so, and we would not, none of us would be the people that we are if we had not gone through something.
Absolutely.
I mean, we've all had our share of disappointments, failures, successes, all of that. But we wouldn't be who we are. We wouldn't have the wisdom that we have.
Absolutely. And I'm so grateful for my trials and tribulation, because that wisdom, I'm applying it to my life. I wouldn't change anything that happened, because I wouldn't have went on. I guess I would have probably went in a corner and hid from the world. So I'm grateful.
Yeah. Well, I thank God for you. I thank God that our paths crossed and we met, and it was like we've known each other for 50 years, Well, you're not even that old. But we've known each other for life. Okay.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Right.
I'm so grateful to you as well.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Judy, I am going to ask you to come up and share the same thing.
Okay. Well, the word grateful comes up so often, and it's my word of the year because I am so grateful for so many things in my life, and I always have been. I think I have talked based on things that have happened in my life. I've talked numerous times of writing a book. So, for example, I grew up in a family with alcoholic parents, and I always imagined this glass tipped over with ice cubes coming out and teardrops coming out of the ice and saying, "Who's crying now?" So I had talked to my children, specifically my daughter, about like writing this book. And then I had worked my way up in my career to become the president of a major organization. And we were always focused on quarterly results. And then I got breast cancer. So I talked again about writing this book. Thankfully, everything, I was able to overcome that. And I talked about, I just had this vision of this book to write that was quarterly results from boardroom to breast cancer, because now I was still focused on these quarterly results, but they were of really important things like my life and was it going to continue. So I had toyed with these ideas of writing these books, and I've been amazed how my older children have come back and told me things that I said, because I so often didn't really think they were listening. And my daughter, who's now living in Orlando and growing in her career, she became a part of a women's organization, and she came to me and said, "Mom, I want you to be part of this book." So she had brought forth me as a potential author for this book. And then when we chatted about the possibility of being a contributing author, then we decided that we should both write our chapters, because we both had a lot of wisdom to share at different ages. And I just want to say, and I know it should have been the first thing I said, was just thank you for having me here, and thank you for enabling me to be a part of this. But it's been such a great experience to meet all of these amazing women who, like you said, like what you've gone through makes you who you are. And if I hadn't gone through the challenges, because I really believe that my ability to become president, I was actually of the Buffalo Wild Wings organization, North America. It was because I had gone through such challenging times. I was very authentic. I didn't look down on people that were in the restaurant industry, and I appreciated everyone. And I just remained very authentic and appreciative of everyone in all their roles in the company. And it helped me excel. And now I love being in a position. Now I work in businesses with each of my 3 children, and all of those businesses are helping people become their best selves. And it just feels good to be able to give back, because I think the things that have helped me through my most difficult situations have been other people that I didn't have the help in my immediate family, because my mom had died when I was little, and I had these other amazing mentors that was my 6th grade teacher and the lady I used to babysit for, and they became role models of like what I could be, what my life could be like. And so now I just really love spending my time being that helper of people that are working really hard and trying to achieve something, but maybe just can't quite make it. And I can be there to be maybe that little angel on their shoulder. So that's the story. That's how I'm here and met all these lovely ladies.
That is incredible. Quite a story. Quite a story. And one, I am so grateful that you survived cancer. I lost my mother and both my sisters. And so I thank God that you are a survivor in many ways, not just from that. It sounds like you've survived quite a few things in your life, and you could not have gone through that and do what you do right now. You had to go through that to do what you do right now. So thank you for being an angel, for being a light. Thank you all for being a light. All right. Jennifer, hi. So glad to see you here. And I am going to give you the floor to share your journey and how you came upon being an author for this book.
Well, thank you very much for having me. I'm glad to be here and honored to be a part of Linda's success story of bringing all of us together. There are lots of powerful women out there that believe in empowering other women, and I am one of those. And this is truly a great group. I have kind of too always thought it'd be interesting to write a book. In fact, I wrote a book. And that's where this all started about 10 years ago. And it was how to manage a law firm, because I had been in the legal industry for 20 years. And I got my MBA, and I was planning on starting a law firm consulting practice. And it was actually the process of writing the book that made me realize I was building a business that I didn't want. And so I was trying to back out of that and figure out, okay, well, great, I have a really expensive education and I've written a book almost all the way through. And what am I now going to do with the rest of my life? What's on my to-do list? And I kind of just shelved it for about 10 years. I had life happened, had kids, got divorced, and then back to this place where I myself, as a single mom with 2 kids, about 2.5 years ago, living in a house that needed to be totally overhauled. It was a fixer-upper. I remodeled the house myself. I became very passionate about helping to get women in the trades, because we have so many skills that no one has told us or taught us how to use, and that we can do that. And in that process, in that journey, I end up starting this company. And that was my exit in April of this year from the legal industry into my company. And we're just coming up a year on October 1st, Entry Envy, and I love it. I could not be happier. It's supporting the passion piece I have to help get women in the trades. It just brings me joy. I get to deliver joy every day to people all over the country with our seasonal and holiday decor kits. And I never had the satisfaction managing a law firm. All I did every day was help lawyers make more money. That was it. And I wanted that direct and that piece that I could help people in a lot of different ways. So I love what I'm doing. But the book piece, I, a few years ago, had a friend who had talked about writing a book about a letter to her daughter. And I thought, isn't that interesting? What would I say? And for the last couple of years, it's been percolating as a letter to my daughters. I have 2. They're 10 and 12, Lexi and Lauren. And told me about this book, and then I said, well, what's it called? And she said, The Wisdom Before Me. It was like the stars all aligned. I met Linda in this last year. She's amazing. And then this book comes to be, and I just wrote a letter to my daughters of what do I want them to know? What are the 3 most important things that I think I've learned in my life that have led me to where I am today? And that is what my story is in this piece.
That is amazing. That is wonderful. Thank you for sharing. I just was a co-author for a book that was, in fact, a letter to my daughter, an anthology. I don't have any daughters, but I wrote mine for my grandchildren. I've got several granddaughters. Okay. Well, listen, thank you all for your stories and why you have come into being authors in this book. So one of my questions, let's talk a little bit about knowledge and wisdom and your take on each. And do you realize that there are so many scriptures regarding, well, you can find anything you want in the Bible, in the Word. And there are so many scriptures regarding knowledge and regarding wisdom, so many. And if you want a better grasp on what wisdom is all about and what God says about wisdom, read Proverbs every day. Okay. All right. So I'm going to shut up. And who wants to start?
I want to start first by letting you, Vera, know, as well as the people who are watching today, is that these women that you just witnessed today are very, very humble. They are not even letting on to you the magnitude of their life and the wisdom that they have and what they've been through. It just blows my mind to know this. And really, you have to read the book. You have to buy the book and read the book to actually grasp how dynamic these women are. And this is only a third of them. There are a total of 15 authors in this book. And this came up really quick. So not every, some people had other things to do tonight. But these women are so dynamic in their own right. And I just want them to know how proud I am of this book and their contribution to it. And I'm going to let somebody else answer that question for you.
Well, thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
And I mean, I can tell that these are powerful women. And normally I read bios, but I just, and you guys can jump in and share more about what it is that you do and how you do help people, because there may be someone either listening now or on the replays, because this will be on various podcasts platforms, as well as ongoing on YouTube as well. So I know that others are going to be hearing what it is that you have to offer. So in terms of knowledge and wisdom, who wants to talk about that? Judy?
Judy, on mute.
I was following my own rule of muting when I wasn't talking.
Yes.
But I think that people are always informing us of things. There's a lot of, you can read things and you can gain a lot of knowledge, but it seems that when you experience something that either causes you immense pleasure or pain, it translates into wisdom. And then it is solidified in your being that this experience becomes a part of who you are. And, most of us that have children know that, we'd like to impart all of this wisdom on our children, but, they often have to go through their own experiences to be able to make that really part of their wisdom data bank, I would say. But I just think that one of my greatest pieces of wisdom came from thinking I don't know what I was thinking, but I just thought I was Superwoman. I thought I could be round the clock. And this is, I thought I could be super mom, and I could be super worker, and I could be great wife, and I could be all these things. And I missed the memo on taking care of myself. And literally, as I was working, and I growing up in this challenging family, not having, no one else in my family had ever gone to college. For some reason, I was inspired to do so. I thank God for that, for just always giving me this positive spirit. But no one ever said, hey, maybe if you went to college, you could change your life. I just looked around me and I had this idea, I want to go to college. I think it could make a difference. It's something I really want. And it really was something I could control. So many things in my life were out of control, but if I went to school, I could control that. And it ended up taking me 13 years to get my college degree, because I was working and going to school at the same time, and then raising a family. And it just was, I think I felt like I had to outwork everyone, and that meant not taking care of Judy. And when I got breast cancer, I was shocked. I have a huge family. We don't have a lot of cancer. I kidded and said everyone has kind of drank themselves to death before we know before cancer could hit them. But seriously, I just was really, really shocked. And then it changed my life. It changed. I still work a lot doing different things now. I'm incorporated in businesses with each of my children, which is a great chapter. But I get 8 hours sleep, and I pray every day, and I meditate every day, and I exercise every day, and I do take care of myself. And I'm just grateful every day. Every day I wake up thinking what I'm grateful for that happened yesterday. And I don't think it could have happened without the experiences. And that's the wisdom I want to pass on to other people, that they don't have to experience it. Take care of yourself, be grateful, be appreciative.
I would like to pick up from where she's at. I want to start off by saying embrace life by making the right decisions. Wow. So for those that are listening, this is definitely a book you must purchase. Again, I'm going to repeat that statement. Embrace life by making the right decisions. Enjoy the process of how God wants to build you. And if you will allow him to just do the process and stop hesitating to becoming something beautiful and unique, you will be able to move along quicker. Unfortunately, for every moment that you slow up progress, you're going to have to sit there and start again. And I know a lot of people say that I don't want to restart life all over again. It's part of the process. You learn as you go along with whatever happens to you. You embrace it, you dissect it, you figure out the things that you want to do and the things that you do not want to become anymore. And you gradually remove those items, people, places, and toxic things out of your life. And then you begin to fall in love with you, and begin to accept the things that God wanted you to become, which is your purpose. So I feel as though as we travel along in this life, we're all trying to find that main purpose that we were supposed to be once we get back onto the path. And so I want to challenge you all to really, go after this book. I'm vulnerable. Yolanda Mack from Miss Mack Marketing is vulnerable inside of this book. And I'm sharing my past, my problems, my miracles that happened to me in my life. And the stories is, they're all truth. But again, I'm going to take us right back again. Embrace life by making the right decision. Start there. That would be the wisdom that I would like to share with everyone today. And trust the process. You have to, even when it don't make sense.
Beautifully said. Someone was going to say something? Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to hop in, and that was great, Yolanda. I really.
It was.
I'd have to say probably the biggest piece of wisdom that I want to make sure gets across, and the biggest piece that I think that I have to share is coming to grips with the concept that you cannot control what happens to you. You can only control how you react to it and how you incorporate it into your life and how you figure out how to move forward. And, I ended up, living overseas for 10 years. And in my family, divorce is not in the rule book. But if your partner decides to go off and play house with somebody else, there's nothing, you cannot control their actions. That is what they have decided to do. And you can only then decide what your actions are going to be. And I had to deal with starting over my life at the age of 30 in every sense of the word, personally and professionally. Came back to the States and felt like a foreigner because I had been living overseas for so long. And it was hard. And I was down on the floor for quite some time before I could figure out, how to rebuild my life and even to decide what I wanted my life to look like. And but once you accept that piece of wisdom that you can't control, you just can only control how you react. You can control your own relationship with God and your ability to say, okay, this has happened to me. Read about Job in the Bible, know stuff, bad things do happen to good people. But how do you take what you've learned from that situation and build a better life? And that comes from mindset. It comes from faith. It comes from, reaching out. And I just have a lot of people to be thankful for. And now that I've now reached a point in my life, I'm now in a position to start to pay it forward. And that is something that I hope that I can continue to do, not just with, sharing wisdom, which is obviously a great thing to do, but also with the physical paying it forward, of actually reaching out a helping hand to other people who need assistance. And trust me, after post-COVID, the tsunami's coming of people who need help.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, listen, thank you. Can you guys, am I unmuted? Okay. Thank you so much. And you know what? I do have to have a word from our sponsors. So I'm going to take a few minutes. I'm just going to run them all at one time, and then we'll come back because we got a lot to talk about, and we don't have a whole lot of time left. And I would like for you guys, the other authors, Linda, you and the other authors, please come back so that we can continue this, because wisdom, this is so important. It's such an important topic. Before I do, Darlene, she's my niece. She says, yes, control your reactions to things that disrupt your life. And just like Mindy said, we may not have any control over things that are happening in us, to us, but how we relate, react, and respond is our responsibility. And we have to recognize, just as Eleanor Roosevelt said, no one can make you feel any kind of way inferior without your permission. And so understanding that, and understanding, all of you talked about your faith and your spirituality and praying. So when we recognize whose we are, as well as who we are, and Yolanda, you did such a great job of affirming who you are. And we have to do that, because a lot of times other people will not affirm us, so affirm yourself. And Judy, you talked about taking 13 years to get your college degree. I understand. It took me 10. So I understand. But we did it. That's the thing. We did it. Okay. All right. So I'm going to pause for the cause and bring on a couple of my sponsors. Okay. Ms. Mac Marketing as the first one.
Reality today with Ms. Mac Marketing. 848-236-5026.
And media service business. We help entrepreneurs and startup businesses by providing them with beneficial coaching, resources, and visibility techniques to position their businesses online from their own homes. We assist businesses with influence building, podcasting, intentional coaching, training, media, visibility, connections, and monetization online. CTR Enterprises Network has a proven track record by directly impacting over 1,000 entrepreneurs worldwide. We are here to service you, and we can help. Contact us today by going to ctrenterprisesnetwork.com.
All right. Ms. Mac Marketing. If you want to have visibility and exposure and a person that knows what they're doing, you want to contact Ms. Mac Marketing. And the number is still scrolling across the screen. And then CTR podcasts training. She's awesome. Dr. Tina Ramsey. All right, back to the show. All right, now, one of the things we are in a dire situation here in this country, and wisdom must prevail.
Yeah.
So one of my questions, and I know you guys weren't prepared, I didn't say we would talk about this, but I do want to talk about it because it's important.
Yeah.
So what can you offer that some feedback, some wisdom, that's what we want, some wisdom on what each of us can do individually and collectively to turn the trajectory of what we see about to happen? How do we turn that around? What do we do? What can we do?
Mm-hmm.
And each of you are a light. So that's a start. Being a light, that is a start. So I thank you all for being a light.
Right in here. I have to jump right in here. And this is something that I have not had the opportunity to share with the other ladies. So this is going to be a surprise to everyone. I think I've mentioned it briefly to Linda, but I have a nonprofit that I am bootstrapping at the moment in my spare time. This is my side gig. But the concept of the nonprofit is I want to pull the proper resources to the table to create what I call a community hub, where if anybody who needs assistance with anything can go to this community hub, and all the nonprofits, all the government agencies, all the businesses who want to help, all the people in the community who want to volunteer are all registered in one place. Because if a family's in trouble, it's a full-time job for them to try to Google everything to figure out who can help them with what. And that's when I made the comment before about there's a tsunami coming post-COVID, and no one seems to be talking about it or acknowledging it. And in 12 months' time, it's going to be even worse than it is now. And when a local nonprofit posted that 1 in 50 families in Central Florida are going to be homeless,
yes,
those numbers are scary. Those numbers are really scary. And it's going to take, everybody in the community is going to have to get involved and going to have to reach out and lift these families up, or we're going to have an entire lost generation.
And you know,
I better hush up now. You get me on my soapbox and get me down.
Hey, Mindy, first of all, to have a national vehicle for such a thing as that, because I know there are pockets where, like you can call a number and get resources and stuff like that. But to have something, and this housing situation, it is, I am winning. I am winning myself.
That's insane.
It is. My rent has escalated so much. I mean, it's scary.
Yeah.
And then I'm in the process of working with a school district, and one of the delays with me getting on board is they're addressing the issue of families sleeping in their cars. Families sleeping in their cars.
And I mean, I don't want to get, it's definitely too political here, but there's a certain political party persuasion who likes to point at these things and say, oh, that's just, people being lazy and not wanting to work. And they need to pull themselves up by their own bootstraps. Well, I'm sorry. If you don't even own a pair of boots, how can you pull yourself up by your own bootstraps?
Absolutely. And Darlene says trying to get help is a challenge in itself. And I mean, my niece, she's gone through some things with her health, and trying to get help. It is heart-wrenching. It is heartbreaking to know that there are, and oh my God. Yeah.
Okay. Can I take 30 seconds here and just tell a very quick story? this is, I really wish I had pegged where this came from, because I'm researching it now. Somebody had posted it on Facebook. It's a story. She was a young African-American mother, and she had an 8-year-old son, and she was working a full-time job and a part-time job just to be able to afford a 1-bedroom apartment, because that's all she could afford. And it was written in the lease that if her utilities got turned off for non-payment, it was automatic eviction.
Oh, no.
And in the middle of the winter, last winter, she didn't have enough money to pay the heating bill. Her heat got turned off. She got put out on the footpath. She had to pack whatever she could into her car. They were living out of her car. And then somebody turned her into DYFS. And DYFS came and took her kid. Then where she was working said to her, well, it doesn't look good on us if one of our staff people, their kid's taken by DYFS, so we're firing you.
Oh, God.
And then somebody broke into her car and stole everything out of the car. So what is she to do? Where does she start? And if in case you hadn't figured this out, this is something I'm very passionate about.
And and the thing is, it's across the board. It is across the board. So everybody, I mean.
Yeah, that sounds like a wonderful organization that you're starting, Mindy.
Yes, absolutely.
It's about identifying and utilizing all the spare capacity within a community, because there's a lot of it. People just don't know how to apply it.
Yes. That is awesome that you are doing this work, because it is so needed. So needed. If there's anything I can do to help with this process, because I'm passionate about what's going on across everything. I mean, everything. And we've got to band together. We have got to show love. We have got to be love.
I want to do a prototype in my hometown of Claremont. So it's, I'm starting to reach out to nonprofits to do a little bit of a study, because I'm going to have to get the attention of the big guys, because this is going to take an Amazon or a Microsoft or a major company or a major hedge fund. It's going to take something major in order to do this and launch it national, because the only way it's going to work, because you have little eddies, you have little organizations in places that are causing a little pocket of positivity, but we need something that's nationwide.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And Darlene says, God forbid you get sick. Excuse me. And it's the truth. I mean,
Vera?
Yes.
Vera, I think this is incredible information that you're sharing. Really blown away by everything that's happening. I want to be able to excuse myself and give another author, I think, that might be waiting in your back office.
I don't see anyone in my back office.
Oh, no. Oh, okay. Well,
I don't.
I was thinking that Miss Janelle Harris was going to be back there.
Yeah. Well, text her and see where she's at. But everybody that's and there would be room for her to come on, because we have space. We have space. Yes. I wish she were here, but maybe she can come to the next one.
Okay, not a problem. Not a problem.
Okay, thank you.
I love what we're doing, though.
Yes. Oh my God. Okay. Now, Jennifer, I want you to chime in here for a minute and just kind of share your thoughts. I know you have, and tell us a little bit more about your entry envy.
Entry envy. Sorry, I've got a fly who kind of keeps coming into my screen. I think on the wisdom side of it, at the end of the day, people make the world go round. It all comes down to relationships. And I was raised in a small town by parents. My father was a carpenter and really, I think, taught me to not judge a book by its cover. And my mother always really emphasized to be nice to everybody, because it was a really small world. And I actually feel like the older that I've gotten, the more respectful of that I am, because I know I wasn't as nice to probably everybody in high school that I should have been. And, through the fortunate world of Facebook, it's like all of these people are coming back into my life. And now I have a business that I can sell a product to those people. And I think I really honestly was nice to everybody, but I'm just saying, like, who would have thought? Who would have thought that I would need these connections later, so much later in life? And it's just over and over. You walk into a business meeting, you walk into a bit the settings. I mean, the movie of 6 Degrees and the book of 6 Degrees, I think in Omaha, it's about 2 because that's where I live. And but truly, like, it's even any of us, we can go somewhere and we can put together those 6 degrees very quickly, and it's usually 2 or 3. LinkedIn is so evident of that. And so my first point in the book is to my girls is like, I cannot emphasize enough the power of relationships, creating them, maintaining them, respecting them, and I don't care who it is, be nice to them. You just never know.
Amen.
I love that.
Great words of wisdom. Great words of wisdom.
And jumping on that, Jennifer, is something that my father always told me. He says, you can never have enough friends. And it's interesting. And one thing I want to point out, Vera, about what I would like for people to go away with this book is that, you know, when we're younger, you know, we have this idea of who is successful and what type of person is successful. And we just have this idea that they were just handed everything on a silver platter and they have the perfect life and the perfect wife and the perfect husband and the perfect parents. And, you know, everything in their life is just perfect, 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 right? And then we gain a bunch of wisdom through our years and we realize that we're all just trying to live our lives and be happy. You know, all anybody wants is to have love in our life, right? And not everybody is dealt that hand with love in their life. And if we realize that there is no perfect life, we're not, none of us are dealt a perfect hand, and that success in our life, and success doesn't mean driving the car of your dreams and having a house with a white picket fence. That may be that, but that's not necessarily what success is. And having a $1 million bank account or multi-million-dollar bank account, that is not what success. I decide what success is for me. You decide what success is for you. And it's different for everyone. And what I want people to realize with this book is that success doesn't come with having perfection handed to you. Success doesn't involve perfection at all. It's making a decision that you want something in your life. And that once you make that decision, once you decide what that is, whether it's a job or whether it's, you know, getting out of an abusive relationship, whatever that dream is that you want tomorrow to be different than today, when you make that decision, we all have that ability to make it happen. It's not about getting handed something on a silver platter, because none of us get handed that. And that's what I want people to know, is that if you want something, you are capable of having it. It just comes down to a decision. We may not be able to take care of it all ourselves. It is okay to ask for help. It's okay for us to ask for help.
Amen. I love it. And you know what? We've got less than a minute left. But
Sorry.
No. That was perfect. You're the visionary. So to have the last word, that was perfect. But I will allow anyone else, if you have something that's just burning in your heart that you just want to say, by all means, I'll give you the floor.
Buy the book. Get the book. You gotta get this book. It's going to change your life. It's going to break yokes in your life. And you're going to be able to walk away and say, why did I stay so long?
Awesome.
Gotta go. It's time to move. It's 2022. Your passion, your dream, everything that you've been waiting for is waiting for you. Buy the book and look at our lives and our stories, how we got over.
Stories of triumph.
Yeah, that reminds me of a gospel song. My soul looks back and wonders how I got over. We used to sing that in church.
Yes.
All right. Well, listen, ladies, this has been so awesome. Thank you so much. And I am looking forward to you coming back, hopefully before the launch or right after. But let's schedule something and get you back here.
That would be fantastic.
Okay, and thank you so much. Thank you so much. And I just want to say to my listening audience, thank you for participating. And please continue to share and subscribe to to this show, please.
Yes.
And again, I want to thank you all. And with that, and if you guys could just kind of wait, if you're not pressed to get up out of here, if you would wait a few minutes, I would appreciate it.
Absolutely.
So with that, goodbye.
The Vera Thomas Show. The Vera Thomas Show. The Vera Thomas Show. The Vera Thomas Show. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk.